Well, hey, y'all. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report here on YouTube. We appreciate you being here today. We haven't done a YouTube thing in a while. I guess I was a little salty about YouTube pulling down one of my videos. I guess I shouldn't be. I guess I should probably expect it. And I have a warning, so and the next one will be a strike. Yeah, bite me. Uh, I don't know what else to tell you, because what we're finding out is. Here's what we're finding out. We're finding out that the fact checkers are wrong, and they're wrong a lot. But it's interesting. We have a couple of stories. One story that we're not telling here, a story that we're only going to tell on Fightback Media TV, that basically illustrates that these fact checkers, all we have to do is wait. All we have to do is wait, and the truth seeps out of the ground like a bubbling crude, right? And it's happened in this case with the University of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, and we'll tell that story on Fightback Media TV. So you want to click over there when you're done here. And speaking of click the subscribe button down there and click the notification bell. And that way you get notices when we post here on YouTube. Please do that for us. We really, really appreciate that. They hate it, but it's good for the algorithm. It is. All right, here's the story. The story is, and we've been covering this on the Morning Report, that the runaway legislators from Texas who didn't want to be there to watch voter integrity actually happen and be solidified and codified in law in Texas decided that they would hop on two chartered jets and zip off to D.C. To advocate for H.R. 1, which is basically the taking over of local elections by the federal government. And they thought that that was a thing to do. And, of course, the left and all the leftist media and all the leftist politicians basically said, well, that is such a heroic, brave thing to do. But there is law in Texas that if you do that, the governor can send out warrants for your arrest. And that's what's happened. However, before that, Ted Cruz, who's one of the senators from Texas, basically tweeted this. He tweeted that, let me get back to the statement here. There we go. There is clear legal authority to handcuff and put in leg irons legislators that are trying to stop the legislature from being able to do business. Politifact, let's talk about Politifact for a minute. Politifact has been around for years, and I first saw Politifact as part of the St. Petersburg Times. Now, what we used to call the St. Petersburg Times around here was Pravda. We had two newspapers. One was in St. Petersburg, which is across the bay, and that was the St. Pete Times, and the other one was the Tampa Tribune. Now, the old head thought is that the St. Petersburg Times was more liberal, and the Tampa Tribune was conservative. That's not really how it was. It was that the St. Petersburg Times was super hard left, and the Tampa Tribune was not as hard left. That's what it was. We like to romanticize things like it was spy versus spy, but it really wasn't. And Politifact came out of that, and is being used as this authoritative source for everything political. It's one of the first fact checkers that everything political, because they had that pants on fire thing. Ooh, liar, liar, pants on fire thing, and it's been taken by people as being the definitive truth teller of everything political. Except it isn't. When they say that they said false, there is no legal clarity. Well, that's interesting. Well, the Texas Supreme Court has allowed for the arrest of Democrats who don't show up to the legislature. And the sergeant at arms of the Texas state legislature, has signed, who issued and signed arrest warrants for these people. Now, some of them have run off to Portugal. Portugal? Portugal? It's going to be interesting how this is going to play out. Can they stay away forever? Can they stay away forever? Now, some people have come back, have weaseled their way back. Some to take care of business, because they can't, stay away from it forever. These are state legislators. They're not making the big bucks like the federal legislators are making. They can't, afford to be away from their homes or businesses indefinitely. We'll see. This is because the Texas Supreme Court had voided a lower court's temporary restraining order that blocked the Texas Speaker, Dade Fillon, I believe, the authority to arrest and detain Democratic representatives who fled the state into D.C. Him and Greg Abbott had asked the court to step in on Monday to overturn the protection order for the lawmakers who broke quorum over the GOP voting bill, arguing that Texas Constitution grants the House the right to compel attendance of its members. The warrants are out. The warrants are out. They have been issued. So if, they get seen in the area, there's a bench warrant out for their arrest. Governor Greg Abbott had said that they would be detained or cabined in the state house, where they will be forced to do their jobs. They'd be forced to do their jobs, which means they'd have to watch themselves lose. This bill is going to pass. At some point, it's going to pass. This is not a strategy that you can do forever. This is like the kid who won't eat his broccoli at the table. When we were growing up, you're going to eat that broccoli sometime, or you're going to grow up in that chair. Right? You're going to pass through puberty in that chair, or you're going to eat that broccoli at some point. This law is going to pass. The House Sergeant at Arms delivered a warrant for Ina Marinez at our Capitol office. They're walking around offices of all the 52 Democrats with warrants delivering them. They are going to be arrested. Now, the wet dream of them being in orange jumpsuits and being frog marched into the county jail, that's not going to happen, folks. But what's going to happen is that they're going to be arrested and brought to the state capitol and forced to do their job, cabined there and forced to do their jobs. Politifact, pants on fire. Politifact, pants on fire. All right. This story is unreal. It is amazing. This story is amazing. But it is evidence of a couple of things. It's evidence that those that have come out of these ivory towers of education really do believe, they really do believe that they know better than you, especially about your own children. This is how out of touch education is. There is an elementary school in Atlanta, Chocolate City, one of the Chocolate Cities. Now, D.C. says they're Chocolate City. Now, Atlanta says they're Chocolate City. So who's Chocolate City? Is Atlanta Chocolate City with barbecue sauce? And D.C. is just Chocolate City with confectionery sugar? Don't know. Don't care. But in Atlanta, there's an elementary school that's acting like it's still 1950 or 1966. They are segregating children, or they were segregating children by race. This mother, and maybe sure I get her name right, Keela Posey, the school just started, and she was trying to get her child's class changed to a teacher that she thought was more suitable for her kid, which is her parental right to do, I think, and her parental responsibility, I think, especially when their kids are really young. And she found out, the principal told her that, oh, that's not one of the black classes. That sounds like a movie, doesn't it? It sounds like some movie based in 1962. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Posey. I understand what you're saying, but yeah, that's not one of our nigger classes. That's not one of our nigger classes. I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Smith is a very good teacher, and she's been with us a long time, but that's not one of our nigger classes. However, this black woman, who's the principal, tells Miss Posey, that's not one of our black classes. Miss Posey says, what does that mean? We have these in the school? Yes, the principal says, yes, I've decided that I'm going to place all the black students in 2 classes. I'm going to segregate them away from the white students. Now, this is elementary schools where you don't change classes. Some of you think, well, it doesn't matter if they're going to change classes. No, this is elementary school where you're with your 2nd grade teacher, your 3rd grade teacher all day long, right? And you go through all the subjects. So they're being completely segregated from the other students, the white students primarily. And I'm guessing the Spanish students or the Asian students as well, because these are all black classes. The principal has decided to do that on her own. Ms. Posey says, we've lost sleep trying to figure out why somebody would do this. First, it was this disbelief that she was having this conversation in 2020 with a person that looked like her, another black woman. It's segregating classrooms. You cannot segregate classrooms. You can't do it. Ms. Posey has filed a federal discrimination complaint with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights against the school. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 says you cannot treat one group of people differently based on race. And that's what's going on at Maryland Elementary School, said Posey's attorney, Sharice Shields. The APS, Atlanta Public School System, says, we do not condone the assigning of students to classrooms based on race because they know the law. And has since taken appropriate actions. Now, I don't know what those appropriate actions are, but based on my experience in school systems, this is what I'm guessing. I'm guessing a call got made to the school to take the chains off the doors. No, that's another movie. To separate, to reintegrate those classes, probably by last name, and try to even them up as much as you can, which is disrupting everybody's flow early. And then, but it'll settle down because it's only the first few days of school. And then the principal, you think she got fired? I don't think she got fired. I think what's happened is that she's been reassigned because that's what they do. They've taken a page out of the Catholic Church's book when they find priests who have, had a little peccadillos. They don't fire them. They don't defrock them. They just move them. They move them to some other position. They're moving her out of the spotlight for a while. And they're saying, we've taken appropriate actions. No. Should she be fired? Should she lose her principalship? Should she have to go back to the classroom? I take fired, go back to the classroom. I take losing her principalship. But they're not going to do that to her. They're going to move her. Because that's what they do. All right, folks. That's what's going on. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. My name is William Lawson. This has been the Morning Report here on YouTube. Click the subscribe button. Click the subscribe button. Click the notification bell. Ding dong, ding dong. That way you know when we post. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.